Hey guys, Peter here to do an EP review. Today I'm here to tell you all about Elaine's brand new EP, All Shall Burn, out November 22nd on Black Lodge Records. This EP has 5 tracks and 23 minutes in length, and this is the band's first in their career, but they've released 2 full-length albums before. For those of you less familiar with these guys, they're a symphonic metal band, but if you want to be more specific, I would call them a dark and heavy symphonic metal band. I believe that's the best way to describe their sound, definitely the best way to describe this release. The only negative that I found listening to this EP was that there was only 5 songs. I wanted a full-length album. I was left with the only option of playing this on loop so I could feel like I was listening to more songs from them. If this is a placeholder, if this is a release to just give something to the fans until there's a full-length album, I'm totally fine with that. But please bring that album quickly, because the quality of the tracks on this release makes me want to have more. I need more from these guys. Now, this EP to me offers a lot of cool dynamics. You have some brand new tracks, you have a cover song, and then you have some symphonic versions of previously released tracks. So there's a little bit for everybody. There's a little bit of everything, and I really like that aspect of this EP. I really like the fact that they combine different elements, new songs, covers, symphonic versions of previously released songs. It just gives you a lot of different looks at the band. It allows you to take a look at them and see all the different aspects that they have to offer as far as their sound is concerned. So from that perspective, that was an absolutely well played card, and I really like what they did on that front. Having 2 vocalists always adds a different dynamic, and it's really present on this release. I really like the fact that they have a female and a male vocalist. For those of you less familiar, the male vocalist is not just there for harsh vocals, also clean vocals. So I really like the dynamic that brings to the music. It really expands on the boundaries of their creativity. It takes away all the shackles and just allows them to go in any direction that they want, because with 2 vocalists you can have duets on tracks. You can have a different dynamic between harsh and clean vocals. You can have clean vocals in the verses, harsh vocals in the chorus. It just allows you to go in so many different directions, and then when you add the symphonic element behind it, it just really expands on everything that they can do as far as their creativity and as their sound is concerned. This EP is a full display of that ability to just really go into different directions and create very dynamic sounds and very dynamic song structures. Now, as far as the songs that are offered on this EP, let's start off with the first one, Enemies, a song that has a great tempo from the opening all the way through, has a bit of a heavier bite around the guitars with a really strong presence in the verses. So the guitars are predominantly heavier in the verses than they are in the chorus. In the chorus, that heaviness gets switched over to the drums and the guitars become more melodic. That's the dynamic that this track has to offer. There's also a little bit of a sprinkle of harsh vocals, harsh male vocals in the chorus, but just really a sprinkle towards the end of the chorus. I felt that was a really nice touch. It added a little bit of heaviness mixed in with that drums that the chorus, because the chorus is very melodic. Besides the drums, you really needed something else to create volume. And by throwing in that sprinkle of male harsh vocals towards the end of the chorus, I really felt that it gave the song a lot more heart. It gave the song a lot more volume. I really like that. The solo on this song really boosts the energy of the track. It's not a solo that gives a lot of melody or that brings a lot of heaviness, but in my opinion, it just boosts the energy, boosts the intensity that the overall track has. Great way to start off this EP. The second song, All Shall Burn, one of my favorites. I honestly gravitated to this song absolutely immediately. It's one of the heavier tracks. Definitely heavier than Enemy. So when you're looking at the first 2 tracks, which are the brand new tracks that they're releasing on this EP, this one is definitely the heaviest of the 2. And I really like the overall orchestration that this song has to offer. Great track, really brings together the male and female vocals, has a little bit of a built-in duet to it. It really gives power to the song, it really gives power to the performance, and having those 2 voices, both clean vocals, male and female clean vocals, really creates a very incredible dynamic towards the main part of the song. Specifically in the verses, it really has that incredible dynamic when you have one coming after the other. It just gives the song great fluidity all the way through. With the male harsh vocals coming in the chorus, that changes a little bit of the dynamic. It creates a lot more intensity. It becomes a little bit more heavy, a little bit more aggressive. So it's a song that has a great balance between melody and heaviness, melody and aggression. And I feel that that dynamic is really represented between the verses and the chorus. The verses being a lot more melodic, the chorus being a lot more heavier, a lot more pungent, having a lot stronger sound to it. But it's a song that's really well balanced and has a really great dynamic between the two portions, and it flows extremely well. You don't really feel necessarily a break. There's a way to ease in from the verses to the chorus without feeling necessarily like the song is disconnected. I really enjoyed what they did with All Shall Burn. Has a really hooky, catchy chorus with that line being used with harsh vocals, so it really gives a lot more dynamic. It gives a lot more strength to the chorus, becoming even more hooky and more catchy. So I really like what they did with this song. Overall, absolutely incredible track. One that really will bring the fans in, and they will gravitate around this song because it's really well composed. It's really well put together from beginning all the way to the end. Right after this comes Herz, brennt, Rammstein cover, and they pulled it off in my opinion. I'm always very critical of covers. It always depends on how the band approaches. To me, they took the right approach with this song. They didn't go too far off the original, but they still give it enough of their own sound, of their own DNA to make this their own song. I felt this version of the song, this cover, is definitely a little bit heavier than the original. I like the dynamic of including female vocals into this song. It was completely a mind-blowing aspect because it was so deep into the song, and at that point you just don't expect female vocals to come in at all, because you would expect that to happen a lot earlier in the song, but it happened towards the 2/3 into the track. So that was a little bit of a surprise, but the female clean vocals add a different aroma, add a different dynamic to a song. A song, like I said, that has a lot of heavy moments, perhaps a little bit heavier than the original, a little bit, definitely has a little bit of a dark component to it, but adding the female vocals to it is just completely changed the song. It changed the dynamic, but overall not changing it enough to be a complete departure from the original. So I really like this cover from that perspective. It is not the original, it's close to it, still different, still sounding like an Eleine track and not necessarily a Rammstein song. So I really enjoyed this cover. The next two songs is Hell Moon Symphonic version and All Shall Burn Symphonic version. Hell Moon was previously released on their second album, Until the End, and All Shall Burn is the name of this EP, and it's the second track. So both songs are similar in terms of what they are. They're symphonic versions of the original tracks. So these are really stripped down songs that just have the orchestration and the vocals. All the drums, all the guitars, all of that stuff has been taken away, and these are just pure symphonic versions of the original songs. A really cool way to finish off the EP with these two. It just complements the EP, gives a little bit of a few more tracks to it, and it complements it really well. It also shows what these guys can do from a symphonic perspective, taking away all the heaviness, taking away all the intensity, all the aggression, and just really letting the vocals and the orchestration dictate the mood and the atmosphere that the songs have. So overall, to me, this is a very complete EP because it starts off with two brand new tracks, a cover, and then two symphonic versions of one previously released song, and the other one, obviously, on this album, a brand new track that's being released on this EP. All right, guys, this is it. This is Eleine, All Shall Burn, out November 22nd on Black Lodge Records. Let me know your thoughts on the band, on the singles that they've released. Use the comment section below. I'll be reading those and getting back to you. Take care, guys.